Okay, so I did try and do a video about talking about this entire year and how it's affected me, but I don't know. I feel like maybe just talking about it was cathartic, and maybe in the future I will do another video. Do something is about to come up that might warrant me to do a video, but I'm currently off work. Probably going back to work next week. I don't know how that's going to go. Um, I have a surgery coming up, hopefully. Again, that'll be for another video. If I do, this will be the third surgery this year. I just had surgery on the 14th of October. This is November 3rd. I had surgery the first time this year in February, like late February. And well, I'm trying to want to find ways to make some extra money somehow. I know just making a video posting on YouTube, it's not automatically going to go viral. I'm going to automatically make money. I used to write. I used to love to write, but I just can't bring myself to write anymore. So I'm going to try and do more videos somehow. I just don't know quite what I want to do this video on. I thought about doing a book review. As you can gather from some of the other videos I have, this channel is more occult than anything. So recently, due to the hospital and other things, alchemical journey, I started looking to baptism and getting baptized in the Catholic Church. Which I know sounds contradictory. I just talked about the occult. But I'm more of a folk Catholic, among other things. I am a Roman Catholic, I guess you'd say. But my mom was Catholic. And it's just out of Christianity, that's what I'm drawn more to. But I was planning on getting baptized. And then when I talked to the priest, I kind of knew, but I forgot, I think, from years ago that there was I don't want to say training course, but there's a lengthy period of time preparing you for baptism. When I looked it up, I saw a couple different lengths of time, but he said, but typically like half a year. And his explanation was, and I hate to say it, but he was one of those people, one of those religious people that seems to be almost brainwashed. I know to him and them, it might feel like the love of God, they're filled with the Holy Spirit, and maybe that is the case. But to an outsider, you can tell that's what it's supposed to feel like. But in reality, I just didn't get I just started questioning it. Like, I made sure I look at other churches, other Catholic churches, because I do know a lot of different people are different. Because I met a priest in the hospital. He felt genuine. This guy felt like he belonged to a cult. And when I say that, I mean CULT, not OCCULT. And I just, did I really want to introduce that into who I am? No, not really. I don't want to. I'm not looking to be a part of a cult. I'm not looking to be forced into something, being told, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, we all grew up. We know what's right and what's wrong. Yeah, we make mistakes. Yeah, we don't always do the right thing, but I mean, when it comes to the stuff that really matters for the most part, like we know not to do something for the most part that's going to land us in jail or prison or get us killed or get someone else killed. But it's right there. If I play, I can't monetize this, and probably now because YouTube and this whole God-forsaken bullcrap nonsense. No, God forbid you got certain words in your video that a kid might see. I mean, they do still have parental controls on YouTube, as far as I can tell. Like, I've seen videos, I'm pretty sure still here recently, where it says, are you 18 or older? Or warnings. Though that might actually just been part of the video, not pop up. Like, like how you can't see this content. Making sure you're 18 or you can't see this content. Well, with the baptism, I'm not fully Christian. Like, my views on the devil are, I've been in I studied the occult for over 20 years of my life. I studied it more than I've practiced it. I have practiced it. I've had experiences within and outside of magic. And I've learned a lot when it came to demonology and Satanism. And there's a lot more to learn, I know, but to me, my views on Satan, on Lucifer, on the devil vary. There's a part of me, because of Christian fear-mongering, yes, the devil, demons will tempt you, they're evil, etc. That stigma is still there. I'm trying to get over. But at the same time, the devil, Lucifer, is not this evil entity that's trying to corrupt souls. I don't know if he really is, like, demons are trying to actually help us. I mean, Lucifer, the idea, from my point of view, a point of view, is that Lucifer realizes that our potential. A lot of times we don't realize our own potential, including myself. Lucifer, like in Genesis, take the serpent in the garden, for example. Yeah, a lot of people focus on the whole tree of knowledge of good and evil, forbidden fruit thing. But maybe the point behind it was more that Satan was, tempting Eve to eat of the fruit because he knew what humans were capable of, spiritually, physically, intellectually, etc. I mean, this is very Gnostic. I'm not super well versed with Gnosticism, but this feels very Gnostic because on the one hand, it's like Adam and Eve were being imprisoned, and then Satan, the liberator, comes along, and because that's the only way he can, maybe, he tempts Eve into eating the fruit, thereby getting Adam to eat the fruit, realize, hey, something ain't right, thereby allowing for enlightenment, nirvana, liberation, whatever you want to call it. I feel like liberation is a better word for it in this case. But when it comes to God, yeah, I believe the demiurge exists. But I also believe that there is a God that is God. I mean, I believe in other gods too, but the divine. You have this creator or something. I It probably take too long to try and go all into that. My views on God, but I don't think Satan is the enemy per se. I mean, yeah, I believe in that there's a satanic current, or actually, I should say an adversarial current encompassing satanic views, Luciferian views. Whether if Satan and Lucifer are different, I don't know anymore. It's like the demons of the Goetia, however you want to say it. The Greek word daimon, daimon, or daemon, refer to a spirit, intelligent spirits, spirits of intellect, intelligence. And that's often what these spirits in the 72 demons of the Goetia are viewed as, parts of your psyche. I don't believe that they are simply aspects of your psyche. I believe they are separate entities that govern over specific branches of knowledge, of magic, etc. Which begs the question, a lot of the spirits that we call demons, are they really demons? Or are they something different? Because it's like some people viewed all the devas as or was it the devas? Any nature. I'll just change it to because I do remember this. Like nature spirits, like nymphs and so on, were all demons, but that's not necessarily true. Maybe not unless you expand on the idea of what demons are, which then again begs the question: is a demon a demon? But as you can see, my views would conflict with Christianity, especially Catholicism with how strict it is. So I did look at the liberal Catholic Church, the independent sacramental movement, and so on. And I used to want to become a priest, but since wanting a family, that changed. But then the liberal Catholic Church and so on, they allow women to be priests, they allow priests to marry, and there's also non-Catholic churches out there, I know, but so I thought about if I did go through with baptism and simply um, just stay quiet about certain things that um, I would get baptized then, because I do have a blog, well, several blogs actually. I would go on there and write various articles regarding baptism as initiation, which I was actually surprised to find that Christians do actually view baptism as Christian initiation. Of course, it's not uncommon to find out that Christianity has pagan roots. Getting a Christian to accept that, however, is more challenging. But, so, I was going to do a video on, or not video, articles on it, blog posts on it, being initiation and coming from a Christian point of view, but also a more of an occult point of view, even a magical point of view, now chemical point of view. And like I said, I found out that it takes several months to do. It's only from September to May. I contacted the church mid-October, or no, a little after mid-October. And the priest said, you can go ahead and come on in. We'll set up an appointment, and I'll just catch you up on what you've missed, since it hadn't been that much yet. I don't know, but I think it was like just one class a month. I'm not sure. Maybe it was 2 classes, 3, maybe 4 classes a month. Seems like it'd be overkill if it was 4 classes, or a class a week for 6 months. I mean, how much do you need to learn prior to baptism? I mean, the idea is once you get baptized, you got the rest of your Christian life to read the Bible, to learn Bible study, or Bible stories, to go to Bible study, etc. So, I passed on it. I was primarily doing it because I thought this surgery could happen sooner. It didn't happen sooner. So I started thinking about something kind of controversial at this point. Not really political, but controversial. Okay, Christianity is supposedly accepting of all. I mean, like, like God will accept you. All you gotta do is repent. I'm trying to lose my train of thought here. I'm trying to piece things together. Christianity Christians often view other religions as, let's say, bad, even other denominations as bad. And so when it came to the fact that I have to take classes before I can be baptized, like, the priest said, because you're going to be committing your entire life to Christ, you need to know what you're in store for, basically. My thought was this their way of trying to be open to freedom of religion? It's not making sense to me right now, but it did at the time. Because I'm thinking that, are they saying that, okay, we understand that there's other religions, not everyone is, like, going to fit in with Christianity. So we're going to give you a chance before you fully commit to something. At the time, it also seemed wrong. Like there was something that just wasn't right about it. I mean, yeah, I don't think you should have to take classes in order to get baptized. I mean, yeah, maybe like a quick kind of briefing, sort of, like in case you really don't know what Christianity is and stuff. But I'm sorry, getting baptized is not the same as becoming a priest or a monk or a nun, where you're going to be committing your entire life to monasticism, to complete and utter devotion to God. I mean, yes, after baptism, you become a Christian. You do devote yourself to God, to Christ, but not quite like the life you can live. You still have some more freedom than you would with, like, as if you were a priest or a monk or nun. But then again, the people who become priests, become monks, become nuns, ideally those lifestyles are best for them. Like it's not challenging for them. Because it's like some people who, well, um, worldly pleasures. Yeah. I mean, I know as a Christian, you got this whole seven deadly sin thing, and you need to try and control yourself. And this is really making me think on, okay, like I said, I studied the occult, I've studied magic for over 20 years. I've taken times where I've just kind of lost interest. I I don't want to say abandoned it, but I went a different way. I let it go for a while. And now, after all this time, I kind of felt like I'm needing to go back and start from scratch again. Or at least somewhat from scratch. because I never had a teacher per se. I did have an occult teacher, but by the time I was already I was 19, I was already pretty well versed in stuff at the time. Not completely. So so now I'm feeling like I need to go back and learn the basics because I never had a teacher, I never had proper training. And I'm not one of those people that I don't think you don't need a teacher to learn magic. That's I'll tell you, but that's a bunch of bull crap. You don't. I mean, it would help. Having a teacher helps if you have a good teacher, that is. But I'm finding now, going back, I'm trying to learn things that I didn't learn before. Especially, like, one of the first books I ever got. By the time I got this book, I was in high school, later years. I was like, mate, 16 at the youngest when I got this book. Probably 17 or 18. It was Modern Magick. It was Modern Magick by Donald Michael Craig. It was the first edition, might have been second edition. It was the one where it was the 11 lessons, not the 12 lessons. That one came later, obviously. I never got that one really. As far as I know, it only included like one extra chapter. I mean, a little bit of revision throughout. It was a great book. I had my issues with it, like how he specifically states that some people blatantly plagiarized Israel regarding the Tree of Life, meaning they didn't give him credit. I found it contradictory because if you read Modern Magick and then the Tree of Life, side by side, there are differences, yes, but the layout is very similar. And Donald Michael Craig just never seems to really give him credit in that sense. I mean, maybe I misread something, but I read through that book. I mean, I don't have it anymore. That's part for the other video, everything that's happened this year. But I read the book so much that it probably given a few more years, it probably would have ripped apart. And I mean, some of the pages did come out. It had stains on it. The cover was starting to, how it had like a plastic covering over it. That started coming off. Wrinkles. Well, I mean, I'm not. When I made that comparison with the books, I'm not trying to cause any issues because I know there might be someone who just loved Modern Magick, and I think I did too. But I'm not trying to start any issues. I'm not saying it was a bad book. It's not. Nothing against Donald Michael Craig, but I noticed that in Modern Magick, at the beginning, he talks about, or rather, he equates Western magic, ceremonial magic. Might have just been Western magic. It might have been more specifically ceremonial magic with Hatha yoga. He left so much out of that book. Hatha yoga. Hatha refers to something like, it means Sanskrit for force, I believe. and it refers to a type of yoga that relies on physical movement and such. And kind of think of like how people, when you think of yoga, like for most people when they think of yoga, you know, downward facing dog, etc. I'm not quite sure if that is it quite the same thing as hatha yoga. The but learning, try to go back to the basics of learning yoga. You know, through like Aleister Crowley and his I came across several different Libri, Liber E, I believe it was, where he talked about yoga. Um, so the thing is, hatha yoga, I believe, somehow was connected. I'm losing my train of thought again. Somehow I want to say it was associated with Raja Yoga. And Raja Yoga is where pranayama comes from. But more specifically, Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga, which is Ashtanga Yoga. And this is going to be a crazy video, probably. Probably not that crazy. I might not even post this. This is already at 32 minutes. So I swear there was something about hatha. I mean, at the time I was thinking, because when I looked it up, it made perfect sense as to why he talked about hatha yoga being associated with white magic, with Western magic, with ceremonial magic. Outside, I mean, with ceremonial magic, you know, you got the postures and stuff, and with the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and Thelema, you got the god forms, you know, like the sign of the Emperor, sign of silence, sign of parting the veil, the sign of the morning of Isis, etc. The EAO formula from the hexagram ritual, and so on. And you could associate these with asana and yoga. That asana are the postures. So downward facing dog, that's an asana. You know, the typical Buddha, that like sitting Indian style. But instead of putting your left leg over your right leg, you reverse it. And I can't remember if there's more. You do some with your hands specifically, but that's the lotus, or very similar to the lotus asana. It also seems like the Buddha stance. I believe it's also called. Which, I mean, obviously there's a difference between Hinduism and Buddhism. Very similar, but um, actually, you know what? I'm trying to learn more about yoga. Like, it was a lot of this I'm about to say I already knew about from years ago, but I'll just kind of talk about it, I guess. This would just be a vlog, I guess. So, asanas are the postures, which I already said. Now, when you see someone make a hand sign, um, so on, these are called mudras. Interestingly enough, looking up Vamkachara or something, the left hand path yoga, basically, tantric yoga. It has 5. I believe that's what, I could be wrong, don't take my word on that. It has like 5 substances, like alcohol, meat, etc. The word for grain in this case is mudra. I don't know if there's any connection between the two, but hand signs are called mudras. Now, famously with Crowley, when you hear someone, a Hindu, someone chant, and so on, OM, Crowley spelled it AUM, so that'll be more. This is called a mantra or mantra, though I think it's more pronounced mantra. Now, the symbols. Now, maybe you've seen some, like if you go to Wikipedia or really probably any page on chakras or on yoga, tantra, you might see these intricate images. Might look like a square with little tunnels coming out at the 4 ends, and then it looks like a T, like T's on the ends. That's an example of one of these images. These are called yantras. Now, you could. This is actually making me want to write now, even though I know once I try to do it, I'm going. Depression or something kicks in, not necessarily writer's block. You can see, if you study yoga, you can see the similarities between ceremonial magic and yogic practices. Like I said, God forms can be equated to the asanas. With the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, you during the Kabbalistic cross, when you draw the light down to your forehead, vibrate Ata, though in some cases it's pronounced Ato, and then go down Malkut, Vigabura, Vigadula, Leolam, Amen. You vibrate these words. And as in modern magic, there's 2 different types of vibration. In this sense, I can't remember if he said it was it wasn't inner and outer. It was, I believe, like invocative and evocative or something. Kind of like inward and outward, depending on the goal. Like during the LBRP, the Kabbalistic cross, when you Ata, Malkut, etc., you vibrate the word, like I did, like when you chant, like when I chanted, that's vibrating the word of power, you could say. You visualize the light here in your crown chakra. Or, I mean, the LBRP isn't really associated with the chakras. It's, I believe it's the Yakida that's associated with this part of the soul, this energy sphere, I guess. You vibrate light radiating out, much like, well, actually, in the middle pillar exercise, you visualize the light getting bigger and bigger and bigger. In LBRP, it kind of remains there at a set size, I guess, but you vibrate it. As you vibrate the word, that ball of light will vibrate. And that's inward, like invocative, I guess it would be. Invocative vibration, inward vibration. Outward vibration or evocative vibration is where later on when you trace the pentagrams, you vibrate names of God. Yod He Vav He. Though some pronounce it Yud He Vav He. Some might just shorten it to Yahweh. I don't really like that. Um, you got Adonai. Some might say Adonai. Hey, yay. Which I have no idea how the hell he came up with that pronunciation. I kind of get it if you look at the word spelled out, because it's okay. A little detour, I guess. Okay, the word Aheye is essentially the Hebrew word Ayah or Aye. In that case, in the latter, it's spelled Ehyah or Eh. Ayah is Ayah. This relates to in Exodus, I believe it is, where Moses is, on Mount Sinai and the flaming bush and the Ten Commandments and so on. And God exclaims, I am who I am. So that translates to Ayah, Asher, Ayah. Though recently I've came across apparently Ayah doesn't mean I am as much as someone said like that which I am or that which I can be or something. I don't know. That feels a little iffy. I guess I kind of grew up with it being I am who I am or I am that I am. So given the spelling Ehyeh, I can kind of get how you got a hey yay. If you split it, I don't know. Okay, well, when you vibrate these words, these gods a name, the last one being Ogla, which is a notaricon. Each letter stands for a a sentence. Something like Ata Gibor, um, Lamed, or no, not Lamed, something Adonai. I believe this is the one that translates to something about the living God, which I always associate with Shaddai El Kai. Kai being life, I believe. And then when you vibrate the names of the angels, of the four archangels, Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, you outwardly vibrate these words. You send energy out into the universe, basically, and you vibrate like the whole universe is vibrating. That's evocative vibration. Vibration can then be associated in yogic practice with, to some degree, I guess, mantra. Of course, magic circles can be associated with or equated with to the yantras. I guess you could kind of say that the god forms could also be somewhat associated with the mudras, but I don't really know too much in the way of mudras when it comes to ceremonial magic. I mean, I have came across things in Asian practices where you do make hand signs, and I can't remember what's called. There's like an exorcism spell where you take your fingers. I don't think it's all of your fingers. I think it's just like two, and you kind of go up and down, side to side, like slashing motions. Um, then of course, the Catholic Church, you could say that during like the Mass, etc., it's kind of like ceremonial magic, and that when the priest makes a sign of the Holy Cross, you say because like this, or in some a mudra. And well, I knew about I knew about pranayama, but I did more study on it. Damien Eccles, um, more traditional study, because that's one of the things, and this kind of makes me want to look into starting a magical order, a beginner's order, somewhere like as I'm starting out, I can find people of a like mind, and we all just start a group and study together, train together, etc., experiment together. And um, what the heck was I saying? Oh, with the Golden Dawn, I've noticed. I've never been a member of the Golden Dawn, but from what I've studied, you you very much need to study Kabbalah. When it comes to Kabbalah, you need to study Kabbalah from a more traditional point of view, as well as the Golden Dawn's point of view, which is a magical point of view. And so, um, I felt like this was going somewhere. Oh yeah, the yoga. Because Crowley, he offers things on yoga. And he does a pretty good job. But I also, and especially, do need to look to more traditional studies as well. I mean, I believe Crowley does have like the 8 lectures of yoga. I read them a long time ago, I believe, but I don't remember. I don't think he went into super great detail like with pranayama, because I found out that with pranayama, if you look it up, not only is it a part of the Ashtanga yoga, or rather the Ashtanga, because I think Ashtanga yoga might be separate, but the 8 limbs of yoga basically, there's different types of prana, I believe it is. Like different airs. And then that relates to the koshas. Is that right? Like your energy body, your mental body, your physical body, etc. And of course, the 8 limbs of yoga is a whole thing in and of itself, because you got like nayama, it's separated into several different things. And well, I remember there's yama and then there's nayamas. The yamas and the nayamas. I want to say they were separate, but I believe like the nayamas were like how to live a good life, morals, etc. I believe, and the yamas, I believe, are just specifically not guidelines, not rules. It offers a structure. They're I can't remember. Um, and then I mean, Crowley, Crowley, and others seem to strongly suggest starting with asana and then working your way up to pranayama. And then I believe it's dharana, which then goes into dhyana, and then samadhi. And when it came to the nayamas and etc., for the most part, it seemed like I kind of already was who I was, I guess, like non-killing, like I mean, you don't just go out killing people and stuff. And but I've noticed that, and this might be where with modern magic, where I was coming from, that the need to learn this stuff, because you can learn about magic from a more traditional witchcrafty style, which traditional witchcraft is a part of who I am. But you got things like the 4 powers of the Magi, or 4 powers of the Sphinx, the Witch's Pyramid, etc. You need things like visualization skills. Drawing a blank. But it's like modern magic. Alan Michael Craig explains with the LBRP that it teaches you to raise magical energy and to direct it. But at the same time, you're also visualizing. I didn't even really I just kind of realized that it's almost like a lot of these yoga practices all rolled up in one. Because when you visualize the archangels, you really gotta visualize and then feel. Pratyahara, that was one of the other 8 limbs. That, because pranayama was like the 4th or 5th. Pratyahara, that might not have been the 6th. I'm not sure. Well, because I'm wondering now, or no, Pratyahara is withdrawal of the senses, I believe. So, because like Donald Michael Craig suggests that when you visualize this angel holding a caduceus wearing an orange robe, that you can feel the wind blowing. Like I always imagine a gentle breeze, not like a whole gale force. But and so on, depending on the element. This, of course, is Raphael, and but I also think that it would help a lot to outside of the LBRP to just try to learn to meditate. And for me, I have trouble visualizing sometimes. I think the thing if I can get myself into a good mood, good states of mind, calm myself, because I noticed with magic, you gotta syncretize yourself with that current that you're working with, like a planetary current. Harmony. You have to reach that harmonious point. And so it's reaching an hour. So I think that if I can get myself in a good mood, etc., calm myself, and there's no distractions, I can more clearly visualize. But for me, like if I try and visualize like a red triangle, it's like I have a lazy eye. And when I'm like looking at this camera or at the computer screen and stuff, it's not like my vision just shoots off to the side or anything, or maybe it does and I'm just used to it. But it feels like when I close my eyes and if I try and focus on something, it's almost like that's what's going on. Like I can't get a clear, like I can visualize a red triangle, but I can't get it to be clear. It's not blurry, it's just like I feel like there's some kind of herb or medicine that can help with this, but I tried to look it up. I don't know how to look it up really, because I came up with there's a thing called aphantasia where people can't visualize at all. They don't have a mind's eye, and that's not really me. Not unless it's like somehow borderline, because apparently I just found out I might be borderline autistic, though I never been tested, and that's for later on down the road. So, yeah, I don't know if this is going to reach anyone. If anyone's interested, if you are, let me know, and I'll keep doing updates. Or I might just do updates anyways. Blessed be. Have a good day. Have a good weekend, because since the weekend is coming up, be careful.